All right, folks, as requested, the range test on the 72 volt Wired Warrior, the performance power bike from Wired e-bikes. Let's see how long these batteries will last. We got 35 amp hours of battery pack to get through at 72 volts, power on. And I set my trip meter before I rode out to this field. I've gone 0.8 miles. I'm at 82.3 volts right now. I've gone in and already configured things a little bit to make this bike a little calmer. Oh, it's wet. It poured rain all last night. I'm gonna go slow through this field. I don't get super muddy. But I put the throttle at 65%. 65% power in the throttle. I put it on torque sensor with the pedal assist pretty low. I'm not gonna pedal. I don't plan on pedaling this thing at all. It's gonna be pretty much throttle only. And then I put it on slow start so I don't get the, lift the front wheel off the ground on an acceleration kind of power, because that's really easy to do. So that's what we set it up. We'll fine tune it as we go, and I don't plan on losing power for quite a while. So I'll check in periodically as we go. But we're gonna do just some, I'd say like everyday riding, how I would normally ride. Slow sometimes, fast others. I could really feel the difference in that throttle at 65%. Yeah, that makes a big difference. I may bump it up a little bit more. When I get on this road here, which is 45 miles an hour, I want to be able to get up to speed quick. Let's just try it. Let's just try it at 65 and see what happens. What kind of speed we get with it like that. It's certainly slower pull. I mean, it's still strong, but not anywhere near full power strong. Super windy day today. Wow. Yeah, that makes a big difference. I mean, we're going 43. Normally we'd be going like 48 with the throttle at full power. So it's showing 3,043 watts right now. 3,100 watts, 3,000 watts. Yeah, I might bump the throttle up a little bit. I want to have the ability to go 40 easily, because I'm going to be out on these country roads where it's 45, 55. So let's do that. Let's put it at 90. 91. 91 sounds good. All right, 91% power in the throttle now. But that's good to know. If you want to just be a more, relaxing, cruising 40 mile an hour or less, drop that throttle percentage down. All right, let's give this another try here. I can feel more power in that throttle because it's giving me 4,100 watts right now. And now we're doing 40 mile an hour uphill. All right, well, I'll let you know when we start to lose power or start to lose battery. Record for me, holy cow. I can tell it's going to be hard to ride this thing easy. I just keep wanting to accelerate and feel that acceleration in that pull and the speed. It's tough to ride this bike calmly. This is too much fun. Alright, well actually I want to try something here. They told me there was something to do with the cruise control. If you, how do I get into cruise? I never use cruise. I think if you hold down, there's the cruise indicator, okay? Now they told me that they set it so you can still pedal and it won't like undo the cruise. So let me start pedaling. Okay, yeah, cruise stayed on even with me pedaling. So normally I think cruise, it cancels when you start pedaling. They left it on so you can pedal and help and not worry about shutting the cruise off. And then when I hit the brakes, now it's off. All right, I don't really use cruise all that much, but that feature works. Well, think it's time for a check-in. I've gone 22.5 miles, and I'm showing 62% battery left. 22.5 miles. And we went through 40% of battery. So, I mean, I guess we're on pace for somewhere in the 40-mile range. The whole first part of this range test has been a lot of heavy stop and go, 0 to 35 pulls. Pretty strong on the throttle. I've been using quite a bit of energy, and I took a break here to just kind of tool around in this neighborhood. Low speed, I mean, it's pretty quiet at low speed like this. 15 miles an hour, pulling 400 watts on the throttle. It's quiet. You can't really hear the motor that bad, but when you really, it does get louder as you make a pull. It's not obnoxiously loud, but it's definitely, you know, this is an electric vehicle. You definitely aren't gonna sneak past someone at full throttle. You could sneak past, oh, we can't hear because of the weed eater now, but you could sneak past them like this, because you can barely hear the motor when it's not under a lot of stress. 500 watts. I can't explain the power from this motor. I can't wait until other people get to try this motor. It is something different, man. Where other motors just fail, this does not. It just keeps going. It keeps pulling. You don't even have to pedal this bike. Don't have to pedal at all. Just hit the throttle. It will pull you up anything. It pulls me up anything anyway. Somebody that's super heavy maybe won't do as well, but gosh, it takes me up any steep hill I want without pedaling at all. I can stop in the middle of the hill and it just pulls you out. Well, I was going to try to do this really steep off-road hill here for you, but it's just, everything's just so wet that it's a muddy mess. I got halfway up and I'm just, the back tire's spinning in the mud. This thing's a muddy mess. Now I hate getting these muddy because I got to go home and clean it now. But I guess it gives you a good idea of how these tires are going to do in the mud. They all the grooves kind of cake up with mud. So look, you can dig it out of there. They fill up pretty quick. I don't know if it's the best mud tire. I don't know. I don't really ride off-road in the mud a whole lot. All right, anyway, on with the range test. That's enough goofing around. We're at 52% battery. 52% battery. I need to find a nice puddle to wash these tires off. And I've gone 28.5 miles. So I guess we're on track for, 60 miles? No, can't. There's no way. That's a lot of miles. Maybe in the 50s. We'll see. I don't know. Still plenty of power. Again, my throttle set to 90% power. We'll let this car back out, and then I'll hit it, and we'll see what our max watts goes to. Because at the start, it was hitting like 43, I think. So let's hit it here. There's 29, 3,000, 37, 38. So now instead of 4,300, I'm hitting 3874. So it is dropping in power a little bit. I mean, it still is a lot of power and a lot of speed. It doesn't feel like it's slowing down a lot at all yet, but we'll see. We'll see. You never know how these range tests are going to go. Sometimes the bikes just go forever. Sometimes they lose power gradually. Sometimes it's just they have full power and then boom, it's like a light switch they just turn off. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, we just hit the 40-mile mark. I've gone 40 miles. The battery is showing 34% remaining. And I just went in the settings and I turned the throttle back up. This whole 40 miles has been at like 90% throttle. I went in and changed the throttle percentage back to 100 because I want to go try a top speed run and max watt run and see what it's at right now with 34% battery left. So here we go. Still very strong pull off the line. And the battery just dipped to 20 immediately. 3851 on the max, 3917 max watts. So still 3900 watts. Still going 40 here. 39, 41. Still very strong and very fast. 43. 45. I think about 45 is the top speed right now. But I want to show you this too. We're at 35 zone. I got to slow down. If I just hold 35, let's get to 35. Let's just hold right there. It's pulling about 1,500 watts, going in the neighborhood of 35. And that's the thing about this bike, it's so strong that 35 miles an hour is just a cakewalk. Even it's showing 20% battery remaining now. But most bikes, when you're going 35, you know, they're close to getting maxed out. And this thing just cruises effortless. 35. Into the wind. It's kind of windy today. It's at about 2,300 watts, fluctuating between 1,500 and 2,300 watts, depending on how windy. Yeah, I could cruise at 35 all day. The throttle's not even twisted the whole way. If I twist it, we're gonna start building speed again. Right back up into the 40s. So, 41.1 miles in, we are still very, very strong. You still have almost 4,000 watts of power in 40 plus miles an hour, 45 mile an hour. That's great. Gosh. All right, we are 48 and a half miles in, and my battery says 11%, but I've seen it go down as low as 5 and kind of start flashing at me. So I think we're getting pretty close to the end here. And I want to show you how much power is left in this. This is one of those bikes I think is going to have like full power until it just outright dies. It's just going to shut off after full power. But let me do a pull here, and we'll look at how far the battery drops in the max power. Go. Max watts, 3,000, 31, 32, 33, 34. 3,400 watts. Still a pretty quick 0 to 35. Still almost faster than any other bike out there at 10% power remaining. We're gonna keep just doing some stop and go. I think stop and go in this neighborhood is gonna deplete this battery. There's 5% flashing red at me. Okay, now we only got 2,200 watts on that pole, so there, now it finally dropped. We finally dropped out of the 3,000 watts. Oh, and this thing went to 0%. Okay. So I'm saying, like, it was full power, and then in that last block, it just lost everything. Yeah, now I feel it. Now I feel the power is less. Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna cross 49 miles right now. 49 miles before you feel the power cut out. Alrighty, we stopped right here at 49.3 miles. At this point, I'd say the batteries are pretty much gone. You need to be in your driveway basically because the power's dying real fast. I'll have just enough to get myself home. The range test, I did the whole first 40 miles at 90% throttle, and then I went in and tuned it up for the last 9 miles at 100% throttle just to see how much power was actually in there. Great power for the first 48 of the 49 miles. It didn't really fall off until the very end. So got to be cautious of that. It drops off fast when it does drop. I'd say that's a pretty respectable range. I did a pretty good mixture of riding. I did some low speed, easy riding. I did some high speed, multiple miles, 45 mile an hour on some country roads. I did a lot of stop and go around town. That really sucks up a lot of battery. And I would say overall, it was just spirited riding. No pedaling. I didn't pedal at all. It was just throttle only the whole time. And it was a pretty, I made good use of the throttle power. 49 miles. That's one piece of data. Do with it what you will. There you go. I hope this helped you making your decision. You got more questions about this bike, drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer if I can. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, we made it home safe and sound. 2% and flashing. 50 miles on the dot. Not bad.